You may have heard Jitsi Meet promoted as the ultimate Zoom replacement. A quick Google search and you'll see the phrases free and safe pop up all over the place. But there's a few things you need to know before you use Jitsi to teach online dance, fitness, or movement classes. In this video, we'll be going over the key differences between Zoom and Jitsi so you can figure out which is best for your online classes. Jitsi Meet is a free open source video conferencing platform. In other words, its developers have intentionally designed it as something that fits in as part of a larger program rather than as a standalone application they've developed to sell directly to users. It's currently available as both a browser-based application or as an app that you can download for iOS or Android in order to use. Jitsi is free for you because it's sponsored by 8x8, a virtual office company. If you've ever used 8x8 video conferencing, which is their program, you'll notice that it's very, very similar to Jitsi, although some features are on their paid plans and they do integrate with some other software as well. This may seem like a trivial distinction, but it's really important. Jitsi is not designed as a complete video hosting solution. It's designed for developers to program it into their own applications. Since I'm not a developer, and I'm pretty sure that you're not a developer either, we're going to be using the free public version of Jitsi Meet that they've put online for people to test out their software. While this is great, there's also some serious limitations that we have to consider before we use it for dance or fitness classes. Unlike Zoom, you don't need an account to use Jitsi. Everything is based on the meeting link. You put in a meeting link, you can join a meeting, no account needed. And here's where the problem starts. When you open up Jitsi, you enter a link. If a meeting exists with that link, you join that meeting. If no meeting exists, you start a new meeting. Pretty simple. However, unlike Zoom, you can't reserve a meeting link in advance. That means that anyone, anywhere in the world can enter any meeting as long as they have the meeting URL. So if you happen to name your meeting the same thing as someone else, you've got a problem. The solution is to come up with a meeting link that is so long, so complicated, and so random that it's extremely unlikely that anyone would ever use the same meeting link as you. Something like this beautiful link right here. There's a website that'll create these for you automatically, so I'll make sure I put a link in the description if you want to check it out. But here's another problem. Because there's no accounts associated with Jitsi, there's no way of associating a meeting link with a particular person, so there's no way of setting a password in advance or telling Jitsi, hey, this is my meeting and I'm in charge. So you can see how this would be problematic if you're emailing out the links to live classes in advance. Not only do the links have to be incredibly long and complex in order to be secure, but if one of your students happened to join the meeting before you, they're now the host. And this is really, really important. You'll see a lot of information online about how Jitsi is so safe or secure because they don't collect personal data and they use something called end-to-end encryption. And what end-to-end encryption means is that even if Jitsi itself wanted to access the contents of your meeting, it couldn't. So while this is really important if you're sharing corporate secrets via video conferencing, it's actually less ideal if you're running an online dance class, because not having an account severely limits your ability to control who is in your meeting. When you're running dance classes, it's much more important to be able to do things like prevent anyone who hasn't paid from entering your meeting, set your own passwords in advance so you can prevent Zoom bombing, and kick people out of the meeting if they're being disruptive. Now, we can solve at least one of these problems by wrapping a super gigantic long meeting link into a shorter pretty link using a link shortener like Rebrandly. So I'll show you an example of this below. As you can see, on top is my super long secure link, and on the bottom is a pretty link that I've set using a free Rebrandly account. Using Rebrandly, I can change where my shortened links point to at any time. So for example, when I'm not running a live class, I could have this URL point to something like my domain/no class right now. And on that page, I could say, hi, we don't have any class running right now. Check back at 2:45, 15 minutes before the class starts. Then, once I've logged into my Jitsi meeting and set a password for everyone else, I can go to Rebrandly, change where that URL directs, and now if someone goes to that same shortened link, they're going to join my Jitsi call. This does allow you to get to the meeting before anyone else and set a password, while also keeping the same link week to week and making it a little easier on your students. However, this is a massive pain in the neck. Again, Zoom is much better suited to creating and sending out meeting URLs in advance. Now, I don't want to create a giant video, so I'm just going to quickly touch upon a few key features of the Jitsi interface. To start a meeting, go to meet.jit.si. Enter your meeting URL and click Go. It'll hopefully automatically generate a list of random words to serve as your meeting URL if you don't enter one yourself. To change your name, click on the 3 dots in the corner and click on Me. Now you can change your name, as well as enter an email if you use Gravatar, which will pull up your Gravatar profile picture. From this menu, you can also manage your video quality. Higher definition does take up more bandwidth, so keep that in mind. Also, the maximum quality of your final video will highly depend on both your webcam and the quality of the lighting in your room. You can either record your meetings directly to Dropbox, or you can start a live stream directly to YouTube using a stream key, both of which are pretty useful features. Finally, you can manually mute everyone in the meeting from this menu. The info icon allows you to get your meeting link, dial into the audio from a phone line, and add a password assuming you were the first person in the meeting and are the host. The 4 squares icon toggles from speaker view to everybody in a grid. It's not doing much right now because I'm the only meeting participant. Just like Zoom, you can change your microphone or camera input by clicking on the little arrows to the bottom of these icons. If you click on the icons themselves, it'll mute or start up your microphone or video. You can share your screen, raise your hand, or use the chat box icon by clicking on these 3 buttons on the left. As you can see, while Jitsi is fairly robust, it does have some concerning limitations. Are you currently using Jitsi for your online classes? If so, I'd love to hear how it's going for you and what steps you've taken to adapt.